Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc's Dumpster, where it's a review of the movie Marmaduke. Well, Marmaduke's main owner of this movie, or the breadwinner, whatever you want to call him, is named Phil. And Marmaduke's best friend is a cat named Carlos. And Marmaduke feels that Phil is sometimes a little bit strict, but he kind of figures out, well, he kind of means well. One day, Carlos overhears Phil talking to the family about they are going to be moving from Kansas to California because it's supposed to be some sort of big pet store deal going on. And so they make the big transition from Kansas to California, and shortly after, Marmaduke befriends some dogs and everything like that. And one dog named Maisie develops a little thing for Marmaduke. But Marmaduke decides he wants to go after a dog named Jezebel, whose boyfriend, I didn't think that kind of thing happened in the animal world, but okay, is named Bruno. And Bruno is sort of the tough dog of the neighborhood and everything like that. So Bruno wants to fight Marmaduke. Marmaduke says, no way, not happening. They have several confrontations, but Marmaduke backs down every time. At one point, Marmaduke and Bruno have a surfing competition, and it turns out Marmaduke wins because Bruno's never lost a surfing competition. So then Carlos, to try to win over Jezebel, Carlos goes and fakes being lost or injured or something like that in the park. So Marmaduke looks like a hero to impress her. And seems like everything's going pretty good for Marmaduke until he decides to throw a party for all the neighborhood animals. Bruno comes over and exposes him as a fake. Marmaduke runs away, then later on winds up in a river or something like that, some kind of body of water. And of course he winds up getting rescued, and the movie kind of wraps up with Marmaduke and his animal friends throwing a party and singing and dancing along to the song What I Like About You. And also, of course, that winds up being a commercial. So Marmaduke winds up in bed with his owners, in which he rips one out and winks at the camera. Oh, darling. The movie stars Owen Wilson, George Lopez, William H. Macy, and a whole slew of other people I can't really remember because it's been a while since I've seen this movie. But the big $1 million question, I guess you could ask, is that does this movie belong in a dumpster? Yeah, unfortunately, I think it does, gang, because I don't know why they made Marmaduke talk in this movie. Now, a lot of people argue with the fact that, some people didn't like the Garfield movies because, Garfield talked. He was supposed to have only thoughts. But I think this movie in itself really made the Garfield movies less hated. I grew up reading Marmaduke comics. I remember for a brief while there was the Marmaduke cartoon on Saturday morning TV. Marmaduke never spoke a word, never said anything. And for some reason they said, let's make him and all his animal friends talk. And it's like, why? This movie is cheesy, it's pretty bad, and I just wasn't all that crazy about it. I mean, if you're going to voice an animated character into a live-action film, first make sure that they actually talk. Okay, Scooby-Doo makes sense. Garfield kind of makes sense. Marmaduke, no. No, it just doesn't really do all that well for me, and it didn't do very well for a lot of people. This movie made some pretty good money at the box office, but this was a critical bomb, and of course, a lot of times people just say, well, who cares what critics think? They don't pay to go and see movies anyway. But I don't know. I just didn't find this movie very entertaining. I said, love the comics. They were always fun to read. In fact, I've actually owned a couple of Marmaduke collection books before, and I enjoyed reading them. Never saw Marmaduke say one word in any of those. Then this movie comes out, and for some reason the studio who made this movie decided, let's make Marmaduke talk. Not a good idea. But there you guys have it, a review of Marmaduke. And if you've seen it, love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you think about it, whether you agree or disagree. And of course, if you like my videos, always feel free to subscribe. And if you got a movie you think belongs in a dumpster that could have been spayed or neutered, send it my way and I will get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching. And until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.